Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Lost High Movie Club. My name's Kiefer Findlow and I'm here today with the always irrepressible Matthew Victor Pasta.
Hello, hi, Kiefer Findlow. What's up, man?
Not much, man. How you been? I hear you haven't been well.
Oh, mate, I've got this fucking cold, man. And, I mean, it is kind of getting pretty chilly in Melbourne, but I don't remember ever having to, take a shit whilst shivering this bad.
You've been living the good life then.
Yeah, no, at least I have a toilet to shit on.
How did you get sick? Isn't there a story about it?
Yeah, fuck. Okay, so, me being, what's the word? Foolish, I thought I could walk around in, 5-degree winter weather in a t-shirt, thinking I would verse nature, I'll get used to it and my body will get stronger.
So what, you were trying to just adapt?
Yeah, well, I thought it's like man versus nature or something, but I think there are some things that you just can't beat 5-degree cold weather in Melbourne. It's pretty fucking chilly.
Jackie Chan probably could.
Yes, he probably could. That's a good segue.
That was a good segue. Yeah, that worked out really well.
Oh,
anyway, so today we're talking about Rumble in the Bronx, the Jackie Chan classic from 1995. Matt, you've chose this film for us.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, Rumble in the Bronx was a film that I have probably seen a good 80 plus times. Me and my friends watched every week growing up. For maybe the wrong reasons. We enjoyed laughing at the bad dub, and it was just what we did after school. We'd watch
it. So it was like your guilty pleasure.
Yeah. And it's just such an over-the-top film, and it's just got so many ridiculous things that we'll go into later, obviously, but just Jackie Chan. I mean, I'm a big Jackie Chan fan. It's not that I dislike him in any way. I'm not mocking him when I watch it, but this is an example of him. It is worse in terms of like a film as a whole, but like best in terms of replay and entertainment,
Yeah.
Like replay value.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you've got obviously, same with like Scarface, you got a much deeper history with this film than I did, because I only saw it a few times. I didn't see it 80 times. I'd be lucky if I'd seen it 8 times. I think I might have seen it about 4 times now. It's never been my go-to Jackie Chan film at all. Even when I only watched his American films, Shanghai Noon, Rush Hour.
Well, I wouldn't say this is my go-to film in terms of quality. Like I'll go back and I'll watch Police Story. I fucking love Police Story 1, 2, and 3, and Armor of God and stuff. Those films are just fucking amazing movies. It's just this is the film I go to. We go to, when we want to just, look at some bad dubbing and have a laugh.
It's kind of like The Room of Jackie Chan films.
Oh, yeah, man. But it's funny, though, because this was his breakthrough American film. This was the one that got, Jackie Chan into the market after 3 times, or two unsuccessful attempts, was it?
Yeah, this was his 3rd time. I would want to go in depth about that later. Before we get to that, because you've seen it so many times, do you want to tell us what Rumble in the Bronx is about for people who haven't seen it?
Okay, well, Rumble in the Bronx is about a guy named Kyung. He's from Hong Kong, and he comes over to New York to attend his uncle's wedding, who he refers to throughout the whole film as Uncle, Uncle, Uncle. Anyway, he goes to this wedding, and he gets kind of caught up with in the Bronx, his uncle Bill lives in the Bronx, so he ends up kind of getting involved with the neighborhood gang's leader's girlfriend, Nancy, who has a disabled brother, Danny. Anyway, so basically what happens is, because he gets involved with a whole bunch of action scenes kind of just come together. That's a basic plot line. It's he gets involved with her, and it's not really a well told story, but people just start fighting, and they just start people just try to kill up basically a lot.
Yeah, and then there's the second plot of the film where a bunch of diamonds are stolen. And then hidden in a disabled kid's chair.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Both of those things, intersect somewhere along in the film.
It's so bad. It's so good.
That's one of the primary problems with the script, is that the film is basically 2 storylines that just sort of don't pad out for a whole movie and end up crossing over each other and making sense.
But we could always make the same argument as we did with Suburban Commando: it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, that's what Jackie Chan's argument probably would be, and that's what Ebert said in his review of the film. I was inside. Yeah. So he basically said the plot, the setup, none of it matters. It's not here for that. It's not here to be a solid narrative. It's all about Jackie Chan doing stunts. But for me, there is not enough Jackie Chan doing stunts in this film.
Yeah, that's something I that's why I go to watch it for the funny dialogue. Do you know what I mean? Like it's fallen back into the category of this is a B movie and not unintentionally funny for the whole way, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you compare it to anything from Jackie Chan's Hong Kong catalog from around that time period, and the amount of martial arts and stunts that are in that is like it's like 200% more than Rumble in the Bronx.
Of course. And I mean, it's same. I'd say go the same with Mr. Nice Guy, the one that was shot in
Yeah.
Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, that one. That one has less stunts in it too.
Yeah. Well, I think the best like Western example is probably Who Am I?
Oh, far out. Yeah, that's a great film.
Because that's probably his best film that was made. And the stunts in that are insane though. And then it gets lesser and lesser. Obviously, I suppose because Jackie Chan's Hong Kong films, a lot of them are sort of action comedies, and they use a lot of those stunts for gags instead of actual gags.
Yeah.
So instead of being punchlines and jokes, it's more like a comedic stunt.
But it's because the setup of this film is that Keong, aka Jackie Chan, is going to America. He's a fish out of water, and basically it's set up through the opening scene. It's like we have this like very, very cliche 90s action music going, and the plane's landing, and we got the Statue of Liberty, and it's like, okay, cool, we're going into American territory. This is him breaking through. We're breaking into the American market. And that's even further exemplified when you hear the explanation for the English language used in the film. Uncle Bill, they literally get in the car in the first 3 minutes of the film, and Uncle Bill goes, "Ooh, so Kyung, how's your English going?" And he goes, "It's okay, it's getting good, getting better," or something. And Bill goes, "No," and that's in Cantonese. And then he goes, "Okay, speak in English. You're in America." It's just like,
I was so thrown by that because the version that I was watching, all of a sudden because the Cantonese in it is dubbed as well. It's not like they were speaking. They go from location mic to a dub. The Cantonese is dubbed badly too. So when the subtitles in the Cantonese come, holy shit, I'm watching like the wrong version. Gonna have to re-download it.
Oh man!
But it's like it just switches into okay, we speak English now.
Yeah, and you're like, oh okay, that's they're just explaining why they have to speak English for the rest of the story.
Yeah, and that's totally unnecessary. Like Jackie Chan's English isn't that bad to the point where you have to explain that he doesn't speak English.
It's almost like some producer. I don't know who. I'm pretty sure it's distributed by Golden Harvest, and there was probably some American producer somewhere, and they probably just went, we probably should explain this to the audience. We should explain that he's not going to be speaking perfect English for the whole film. Just there's going to be a little bit of a Chinese accent.
Take the example. This is coincidental that this has come up because I was reading about this yesterday about Sammo Hung and his series that he had in the late 90s, Martial Law.
Oh yeah.
They didn't give him lines in the show because he didn't speak fluent English, and it's like it's marked down as one of the only shows in American TV history where the main character doesn't speak. And it's just insane. It's like, how bad does and the whole thing was we're too worried that people won't understand him.
Yeah, but it's funny because the story doesn't make sense fucking anyway. It's like...
Yeah, it's like, exactly like, so what, you're going to have a mute cop and, Jackie Chan's going to have to explain the reason he's dubbed.
That's the thing with Martial Law. Like, that's actually was considered a very good show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it only ended because Sammo Hung wanted more control over the scripts and they said, fuck off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the 90s, There wasn't... Yeah.
He did have, he had crossover episodes. He had an episode in Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
And he had an episode in that show Early Edition where the guy got the newspaper from the future.
What?
Do you remember that?
No, I fucking don't.
Oh man, it was a fucking secret.
Oh, man.
So this guy, his newspaper would be on the doorstep and it'd be tomorrow's newspaper.
Yeah.
And he'd have to try and fix whatever problems were in the newspaper. Typical 90s setup. Like somebody had that idea written down in the 80s and just sat on it for a long time. The guy receives magic newspaper.
Oh man.
Anyway, Sammo Hung's in an episode as Sammo Law in Early Edition. Anyway, the dub's so bad though, man, in Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, it's atrocious. The film doesn't make that much sense. I mean, look, you've got the character of Danny in there. For those who have seen the film, I'm sure that you will always identify with Danny in the wheelchair. For some reason, right? Like this is the other thing I find kind of ridiculous about the film. It's like he's in a wheelchair, yet they use him as a gag several times with him falling over.
Oh yeah, man, they treat him like absolute shit in this film.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, how far do you want to play we've got a disabled little brother and we're going to use him to build sympathy, but we're also going to throw him around a bit. He's going to try and do a wheelie on his wheelchair, fall backwards in the middle of the scene where they're hugging. We're going to have a bunch of guys manhandle him and throw diamonds at him and throw him on the floor. It's like, oh man.
I love in that scene where he's getting thrown to the floor that Jackie Chan's not saying to them, stop this, he's disabled. He's saying, he's just a kid.
Oh yeah, he's like, hey, he's just a kid. And he says it like 3 times.
It's like he's playing like stop hitting him, he's a kid. Stop hitting him, he can't fucking walk.
Yeah, he's just a kid. But
can't you see? He's just a kid, a normal kid.
Oh, well, look, the thing is, I don't think he probably has, like, obviously, it's built up that he's got some sort of physical disability, but it's also kind of implied he might have a mental disability too, because, I mean, there's some really weird lines that come out of Danny. My sister undressed you, and she's pretty. Like, yeah, okay, so for those who don't know, there's a scene where Jackie basically gets beaten up by a bunch of thugs, and suddenly, like, it goes from big slapstick comedy to, like, them throwing glass bottles at him and him bleeding on the floor, like, profusely. And it's actually quite an intense scene. Like, it almost still takes me off guard, that scene. So he comes back home and he's found by Danny and Nancy, the sister, and he's laying in bed naked, but he's got a towel over him. And Danny says, my sister undressed you. And it's just like, the way he says it, it's just, oh God, like,
yeah, it's very drawn out.
Yeah, it's really drawn out.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's like,
at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I love how he's like, and she's pretty.
It's like they're shoehorning a romance in there when there didn't need to be one. Like,
oh gosh, yeah, and like, yes, if there's like, you know, in terms of romantic plotline, I like how the kid's always leading towards them. Oh, you two should get together. You know,
that's just because fucking Jackie gave him, or Kyung gave him that Game Boy thing, the Atari Lynx, man.
Wasn't that the Atari Lynx that he gave?
I'm pretty sure it was an Atari Lynx.
Oh man, I was trying to figure out what that was, or whether it was like an old Sega thing or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been a Game Gear.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
but it looked way too square. It looked a lot like the Lynx to me, but I couldn't, like, I didn't stop to look at it intently. But it was one of those. It was either a Game Gear or an Atari Lynx. Like, great choice, Jackie.
I mean, well, that's the thing, because it's an odd film because it retains a lot of the things of the 90s, but it's very funny, like, in the way it's shown, because the Bronx is the most cliche Bronx you can ever imagine. Like, yeah,
but it's also like the most watered down version of that cliche.
Yeah, it's like okay, so we have like a Bronx where it's like, you know, just there has to be graffiti in every scene, and they have to wear these like leather jackets everywhere, and like yeah, gangsters, like, they all walk around with like mohawks and goggles on. It's like, what was that film they took it out of? It looks like they took the fucking outfit straight from another film.
Yeah,
The Warriors.
No. No. It looks like whoever was the production design team on this were given a copy of The Warriors and told, this is what New York looks like.
This is what gangsters do. That. Yeah. This is what gangsters. Oh wait, what's that? Rumblefish? Nah, mate. Nah, it's not really Rumblefish. It's
Rumblefish.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's terrible.
It's so weird.
Man, the graffiti.
Yeah, the graffiti is so painted on.
Yeah, they shot this film in Vancouver because they couldn't afford to shoot in actual Bronx. So they've made, when it looks fake because it's obviously not the Bronx, and then they've tried to make it look like it's a bad part of town. All that graffiti, they had to put that up every single day because the places that they were shooting wouldn't let them leave the permanent graffiti up. So they would put the graffiti up and then paint back over it every day for the shoot. So they were putting up all this fake stuff because Vancouver didn't have anything that looked like the Bronx then. I don't know if it does now.
Or it's like also like, yeah, cliche Bronx, cliche bucket Bronx people walking around, like there's crime like everywhere, like, and the type of crime, it's like, all right, we have to have a cop chasing someone in the background. There has to be you have like the cops themselves who are just the dumbest cops. But it could be subtle. It could be subtly Chan, like, going with the whole, like, I don't know, like, oh, American cops are stupid, and I know, you know, I'm a hate, you know.
Yeah, that would make sense if you know, they said in the English version that Jackie Chan's character was a cop. He's like a better cop than the New York cops.
Yeah, I mean, according to this Wikipedia link that I'm looking at now, it says that Ma Hon Kyung, Jackie Chan in brackets, is a Hong Kong cop who comes to New York, and it's like there is nowhere in this cut of the film that I've seen, in the American dub version that I've got, there's nowhere that he's explained he's a cop. It's explained that he does have martial arts skill when he like sees the.
He sees a wooden dummy and just like goes at it.
He starts fighting it. It's like, oh, this guy can fight. We're establishing he's a martial arts master back home. He wins tournaments.
Because Uncle is using it as a hat rack.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, I want to use that thing for firewood. Oh,
yeah, like what a dick.
Yeah, I know. It's like, that's like some like ancient fucking thing for your family's lineage, and you're going to use that as firewood? Now you use it as a coat hanger? Are you kidding me, man? Uncle Bill. You have no empathy. You have nothing. Nothing.
Uncle Bill.
Oh, man.
I think it was pretty lame. The whole setup of Uncle Bill takes so long.
The setup of Uncle Bill. Like, how about when the African American woman comes and kisses him,
man.
and it's literally okay. So for those who do have or haven't seen the film, I'm going to jog your memory regardless. There is this Uncle Bill. He's come for the wedding, and he's gone. Jack Kyung has gone over to like the Asian staff member in the in the grocery store, and he's like, oh hi auntie, da da da, and she's like, and Uncle Bill's like, oh no, that's not your auntie, that's not your future auntie, and then like an African American woman who's like overweight comes in and gives him a big sloppy kiss, and Kyung's character's just staring at her like, whoa, what is happening? Like, whoa.
Like, what? How could he be marrying the black woman?
Yeah, and it's just like, and on top of that, she goes on to say, ooh, it might be like, Uncle Bill justifies this by saying, might be different, but she's a wonderful woman. And it's like, whoa. This interracial relationship between black female, Asian uncle is, it's
a very cheap joke though.
It's a very cheap joke. It's like a kid in a wheelchair falling over.
They're making a kid in a wheelchair fall over in two scenes, further down the line. So
it's all right.
Being racist is fine.
Yeah. I mean, then again,
this film. Not to mention, there's a scene in this film where a guy gets put in a wood chipper. Like,
oh my gosh, that scene is intense.
That scene and the one with the bottles, man. It's like they're from they're from a very different film. Like they are coming straight out of like a police story or something. Like here's a guy getting smashed with fucking glass bottles. Hit with baseball bats, and then another scene, then comical. Stuff going on. Jackie Chan's being funny, and then we've caught one of these gang members, and we're going to feed him into a wood chipper, and then send them the fucking body in garbage bags. Like
they killed lads. Who would do such a thing?
That seems great, man. Because like the Jackie Chan finally makes peace with the gang, and this is where the other plot picks up, and. They get these this guy comes back yelling, "Help me!" with garbage bags of Lance.
Yeah, Lance.
And they like one person opens it up and like vomits, and then the next person just like goes and opens it up and vomits. What's in there?
And then it's like they killed Lance. Who did it? I don't know. Where's Lance? No, it's like where's Angelo? Where is he? I don't know. And he runs off.
And Jackie Chan just happens to be there. He's like, oh, well, I've got to help him now with this.
But, that Lance scene, I just love that line. They killed Lance.
Yeah, and Lance was like wearing something from like a gay BDSM club or something. Like he's wearing like tight leather pants and like a black. Like it's like, man, they have no idea.
Costume designer, yo, like be careful with that, man. Like we're not.
They don't even give Lance any lines. They just chuck him straight in the wood chipper.
Cruising, all right.
Jackie Chan's cruising.
Like fucking hell.
But like the funny thing is how quickly he goes from like fighting this gang in that one scene to now like going to go fight for them. Like the whole plot just like gets twisted because the first half is really condensed with where Jackie's just running into this gang over and over again and getting chased for no reason whatsoever.
That in the plot line too. Like, why does Jackie keep getting beat up by these guys? Like, fair enough. They're stealing from the store in the Bronx, and then he protects it by, beating them up once. And it's like, okay, cool. But they repeatedly try to beat him up. It's like they see him on the street and they chase him down and they break storefronts and, they break people's vehicles. And these are just like a petty gang in the neighborhood. It's like...
Oh, man, I forgot about the motorcycle part.
Oh, what?
At the start where they introduce the gang by like Jackie hears some motorcycles outside at night and looks out and they're having a dirt bike race in the street where they drive on the top of like 50 or 60 parked cars. Like the street is just full of parked cars on each side of the road, which gives them perfect opportunity to have this race.
Yeah.
For no reason. Drive on the cars, smashing all the windows. And the setup is that Uncle Bill has this like antique car for his wedding, and Jackie's got to go out there and protect it.
Actually,
and that's where
I wonder if anyone like listening to this is like sitting there going, "Yeah, I fucking remember every one of these scenes these guys are talking about. It's not all that fucking obscure. Like I get everything they're saying."
Probably not.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things. It's like I talk about this film with so much passion. Like I remember every scene, man. It's like,
I think if we were talking about like Rush Hour or something, people would be much more. But like Rumble kind of just got forgotten about.
I don't know, man. Like didn't get forgotten by me and my homies growing up, man. Like
yeah, but that doesn't mean it kind of it feels like it's like, same with like Who Am I and
Who Am I?
And Mr. Nice Guy, man. What about the tuxedo? Remember the tuxedo?
Oh,
no one remembers the tuxedo.
No one remembers it. No, but I remember quotes from all these films, like in Mr. Nice Guy. It's like, "Hey, you're a nice guy." Like the title is like,
oh man,
man.
I'm surprised they didn't do that for Rumble. Like, they didn't try to like, it's gonna be a Rumble in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, yeah, they didn't try to work that in. Oh gosh, but they did work in. One thing they did work in was a fucking club with a goddamn tiger in the club.
This is two films now that we've done from you that have got tigers in them.
Oh well, yeah, Scarface and
this.
And it's like
halfway through the film, a tiger rocks up.
Yeah, and Kyung or Jackie Chan or whatever asks her. He goes, "Are you not afraid of the tiger?" And she's like, "We're friends. We've been friends for a while now." And it's like, what? So
yeah, but the funny thing is, they set it up like they make it secret what she does. Like they're making it out like it sounds like she's a prostitute.
Yeah, basically
in the film.
Yeah,
like that's the kind of like them setting it up like, oh, she's got a heart of gold, but she's
she's a hooker with a heart of gold.
Yeah, and then Jackie goes to the club to see what she's doing, and she's just sort of like dancing fully clothed next to a tiger.
Yeah, and it's like this tiger is dancing, and it's like this tiger's dancing. No, sorry.
That would have been more impressive. And she was dancing with a tiger.
Oh my goodness! And it's like this club. It's like the production designer on this film. Did they just say, "All right, we need to make this club look, really, really like, we're in the Bronx"? Okay, what would a club in the Bronx have? What would they have the budget to have? A tiger? Yeah, they'd have a fucking tiger in the Bronx. And a club in the lower socioeconomic area of America. We're gonna fucking put a tiger in a club because that's what they do in the Bronx.
Yeah, that's like a miniature circus delay in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a tiger and an acrobat.
Hey, that was honestly, since the film's a Hong Kong production, I think this looks like the kind of club that would be seen in Macau. Not in fucking, you know what I mean? It's not a club you'd see in the Bronx.
That's what they expect when they go to a club. When they go to a seedy club in Macau, it's a woman dancing with a tiger. Actually, not a strip club.
No, well, what I saw of Macau when I was there was just a bunch of dudes gambling. But yeah, whatever. No tigers.
Tiger's gonna eat her.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Gosh, man, it was. It was.
From what I read as well, that scene was added for the American release.
What? What do you mean? Like they refilmed that scene for the American?
So there was two versions of the film. The Hong Kong version is, I think, 17 minutes longer.
Yeah.
And fills in all those plot holes, like why the gang keeps attacking Kyung because he just keeps running into them at this fucking supermarket.
Yeah.
So every time they go to rob the supermarket, Kyung's there to like get in the way. And they cut a few of those scenes and added, I think, the scene in the club from what I read to explain why. Like, 'cause, I mean, if you didn't have that and you just had this insinuation that she's a prostitute, people are going to think she's a prostitute. And maybe in the Hong Kong version she's supposed to be a prostitute. That's why I never put a scene in about it.
Well, yeah.
Which would be a very different film. Like,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Hong Kong version has some answers. And if there are any viewers out there, that have seen the Hong Kong version, maybe you could fill in some details that we haven't.
Yeah, if anyone's actually seen it, because I can't get a hold of it.
Oh, man. I mean, I just wish I could speak Cantonese. My dad should have taught me, but he didn't, unfortunately. But I probably could have, enjoyed Rumble in the Bronx in a different way. Maybe I wouldn't have watched it so many times with my friends and laughed at it continuously. And we even remade it. We did our own version of Rumble in the Bronx,
Yeah, you sent me this right before the recording, and I can't fucking believe you did this.
I mean, it's me about 25 kilos skinnier than I am now, and, with my bowl haircut, and I'm basically Jackie Chan. I mean, there's a guy in a wheelchair in it, and it's just like, I don't know, when young me made films. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think your story and plot in that film jumps around just
Yeah.
as much as Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, it jumps around because like we just wanted to work quotes in, like, "You got the guts, drop the gun," or "He's just a kid," or "Lance, they killed Lance." We just wanted to like work these random Bronx Rumble moments into the whole fucking.
I forgot about the "you got the guts."
You got the gun. Yeah. He's like, "You got the guts, drop the gun," and they're all like, the gangs. So Jackie Chan like bursts into this like warehouse where they're all partying, and he starts a fight with Tony, the gang leader. He's just stolen Tony's girlfriend from him, basically.
Yeah,
He goes in
the warehouse as well, man.
Yeah, the warehouse too. Yeah, and he's like cuckold the guy to the max. Yeah. He's right in there, and he's like fucking throws their what's it called? What's that disc thing that they fucking use?
Is it just a stereo?
I don't know. Yeah, he throws their stereo system, whatever. He just smashes on the pool table.
You like watched this last night, man.
Oh mate, I'm so out of it. I've just taken like a whole bunch of codeine pills to compensate for this. I must apologize if I sound really incoherent today, because like I'm fucking flying right now. These Nurophens, codeine. Mate, I've heard about this like Lil Wayne stuff, man, and I'm not gonna lie, this stuff. Oh man, if you got the flu, take a few codeines, pop a few of them. It's good, man.
Yeah,
anyway,
if you have a prescription for codeine.
Yeah. Nah, this is over the counter. This is over the counter, man. That's why you don't need a prescription.
Yep.
Yeah, but like it wasn't working, so I took a few more. Anyway, so like
painkillers are a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah, man. Jackie Chan on the painkillers. Let's make a
Make a segue.
I just like saying segue because every time I say it, I imagine a guy on a Segway. Just riding around fucking Melbourne Central.
Jackie Chan would have had to been on some painkillers because he fucking broke his leg.
Yeah, man.
During this film. Oh, his foot, was it? When he jumps onto... Oh, we haven't even gotten to the hovercraft yet.
Oh, wait. We've got to go...
I talked about the hovercraft.
We've got to go back to the hovercraft. We will. I reckon we'll talk about his broken leg.
All right, so Jackie does a stunt where he jumps onto a moving hovercraft, and he broke his foot or his leg doing it. And the shot is still in the film because only he had one take at it.
Yeah, it breaks his ankle.
He broke his...
Jumps onto a hovercraft, ankle snaps. That's the only take. One take, boom.
And I don't know where in New York that part's supposed to take place because there's like a mountain and a lake.
Yeah, in the background. In the Bronx. Right, but,
in the Bronx.
But that being said, though, then he, as Kiefer was saying, he wears a cast with a rubber shoe over the cast so he can continue doing stunts with a broken foot.
Yeah, they just painted a shoe onto the rubber part. Like, it's painted on.
And like that's the dedication, like, and I think that's what people gravitate towards with this, or all of Jackie's films. It's not that, I mean, yeah, it's a bad film, but I mean, it's a fucking amazing achievement, and all his films are because he puts himself through it. He break his foot for you. He just does what he wants to entertain, man.
Yeah, and he's broken something on almost every shoot he's done. And later in the year, he was filming another film back in Hong Kong. And his foot was still not fully healed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, like, he was still actually, like, wearing a cast and stuff for, like, the first couple of days, I think, of shooting this other movie. So,
he just
that kind of professionalism, he doesn't care for his own safety at all.
But I also watched a little documentary called My Stunts a few years back, which, if you haven't seen My Stunts, man, you should check that out. Because it goes through he has an ABC of falls. So they got ABC of falls. Like, for a certain punch, there's a certain, like, maneuver they'll do. And they'll flip into a certain way. Like, have you noticed they always do those backflips and land on their stomach?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like number C or some shit. But, like, it's the fact that I was watching this My Stunts doco from 95 or something. And Jackie Chan goes to explain how he'll do, like, 100 takes of, like, a simple thing like a fan catch,
Well, isn't that the most amount of takes? There's that one scene from whatever film it is where he's doing a fan catch and it took them... It's the world record for the most amount of takes.
Yeah, because he's a perfectionist, man. Like, he wants it to be absolutely perfect. It's... I mean, we've been here, like, laughing at the bad dub and blah, blah, blah. But, like, we really fucking love Jackie, man. Like... Oh, yeah. He is... Yeah. He is amazing, man. It's just like...
I'm a massive fan of Jackie Chan's early work. Well, not his early work, so it was really shit. When they were still trying to make him a serious action star.
Yeah.
But that's what the studio was trying to do with him first. And, it's interesting. When I was in America studying, they talked about Jackie Chan as an example of changing an actor's basically, what do you call it? Not their typecasting, but they tried to sell Jackie Chan as like a Bruce Lee replacement for a little
Yes,
bit.
yeah.
When none of that was working, they made a big hit using him as a sort of comedy stunt worker by what's Drunken Master.
Yes, yeah.
That film was huge.
Yeah.
Like that solidified, what Jackie Chan's style of action was. And then from then on, you just have like so many good films up until Jackie Chan goes to America.
Yeah. Oh no, there were some bad ones in there too, like The Protector. But that was also the American,
That was also an American film. So
yeah, an American
the
film.
context for this, for those who don't know, Jackie Chan was huge in Hong Kong and Asia. And then people in America saw this and were like, well, shit, we need to get this guy over here. And they cast him in a film in 1980 called Battle Creek Brawl.
Oh, yeah,
which is just like a stock standard Enter the Dragon style Bruce Lee movie where it's like, it's not Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
And there was constant fights between Jackie Chan and the director of that film because Jackie would be like, let's do this. I want to do this. I want to get out of the car like this, doing a backflip. And the guy was like, no, don't do that. We're going to shoot it like an American action film. And that's not really what Jackie Chan's good at because they tried to do it again in The Protector in 1985, where they basically cast Jackie Chan as just a cop. Who just happened to be Jackie Chan. Let's not have Jackie Chan's, like they could have made Police Story,
Yeah, exactly.
Take like Police Story and The Protector, and it's just like you've got the exact difference between the way the American market approached action films and how Jackie Chan did.
But see, Jackie Chan sees action as a really an art form in the sense of the long take. Like, do you know how much choreo? Like he shoots it all in wide, so you can see every single move, every single punch, every single fall in a very graceful kind of way. And I think, like that being said, though, it makes total sense that the American directors would, especially for Battle Creek Brawl and The Protector, they definitely look at that and be like, oh, does he know what he's doing? American audience don't get this style of action. No, they do. They're intelligent. They do get it in the end, just not through their films, because they chose to kind of water down Jackie,
Yeah, and you got to remember, like, Kung Fu movies weren't popular anymore by 1980. They had a huge, surge in the 70s.
I don't know, man. No. What about, like, Bloodsport and...
Yeah, that was wasn't that mid-80s?
Yeah, that's, and you had that, what's that one with Streets of Siam in it? The Van Damme film? I have a flashback of it. Is it Kickboxer? It's got to be, right?
Yeah. It's got to be Kickboxer.
Yeah, Van Damme.
And you could say the same thing with any, like, the action stars. I think what happened was you kind of got this weird fusion between Rocky and, like, Kung Fu with a lot of those films, like Kickboxer, and it was kind of like, well, it's a tournament film. And Karate Kid, obviously,
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. And
that kind of brought it all back, but it all kind of got meshed into...
American culture,
like Van Damme, who is a martial artist. You look at Steven Seagal, who's a martial artist. Like, the popularity of those kind of guys was because they could do, cool shit, And that, even their films, though, they're not the same as Jackie's films. Like, you don't have Steven Seagal doing those kind of stunt work stuff.
No. Jackie's stunts is not like, it's like really, like, it's Chaplin-esque, It's
got this kind of silent comedy.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Not slapstick. It's a bit slapstick. Maybe slapstick is the right word.
Oh, well, I don't know. A slapstick is having a disabled kid in a wheelchair fall over, but...
I think that it kind of is. Like I can imagine that being in a slapstick show, like having a disabled, especially in the 30s.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I think it took a long time for... Like, you could easily have Jackie Chan in the film doing martial arts like Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme, where they're just punching somebody in the throat. But, like, Jackie Chan's films are about the dance of this
it's like,
martial art. Like, the idea of, like, all these comical situations that come up.
And the props they come out.
And the props.
Like, it's so great,
But that's you look at a lot of films from the 70s and 80s coming out of Hong Kong, like Spooky Encounters or Mr. Vampire, stuff like that. It's all the same stuff. Like, that was the brand of comedy, and that all comes from Drunken Master, at least for Jackie Chan, because that film's all about setting, like, he's drunk, so it's got to be, funny. He's doing martial arts while he's drunk, so he's...
Yeah, there's a comedy element to that.
Yeah, well, that's his shtick, really. Which, when, Rumble in the Bronx came out and introduced him doing that comedy stuff, it was a success. And I don't understand the hesitation by American directors in the 80s, especially Glickenhaus, to not let Jackie do his thing. Like, they were trying to sell him as a tough guy, martial artist.
Yeah.
Instead of a accident. Like in almost all of his films, he's always just like
Yeah.
not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Always. Yeah, exactly. That being said, though, like, I mean, he is the Chinaman. Like throughout the whole film, they refer to him as the Chinaman in Rumble in the Bronx, and it's interesting because it's like by this film, he's kind of really embraced like, yes, he is the Chinaman. Like he shouldn't be there. They refer to him as
he thinks he's embracing his fish out of water
Yeah,
status by
yeah,
letting
yeah.
them call him the Chinaman.
Yeah, like it's like, I am the Chinaman. I have your diamonds.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like- yeah.
Kill.
And it's like,
Does they say like kill the Chinaman, and then
Yeah.
Jackie's on the phone like says something, and the guy's like, "What? Who is this?" Like,
yeah. And it's like, yeah, there's so many. He's like,
no, because the guy's like, "Kill the Chinaman," and then Jackie's like, "You want to
What?
kill me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Who is this?" It's like, who the fuck do you
Doesn't
think
make
it is,
sense.
man? Who do you think it is? It's the
like-
Chinaman.
it's the Chinaman.
I'm the Chinaman.
I love how he refers to himself as the Chinaman. It's like, and it's like, well, the scene where that whole grocery gets thrown down. Literally, like they're beating up the gang members, and he just blurts out, "He's the owner of the Chanwan supermarket." And it's like, oh yeah, well, now obviously they're gonna beat him up. I mean, they're gonna go and tear the supermarket down. Wait, because he's the guy who owns it. Wait, no, he doesn't own it. He's just a Chinaman that like is kind of related to the guy who owns it.
Yeah, they've got no reason to think that. There's nothing in the film to set up that they'd think he's the owner of the grocery.
Yeah, exactly. But he's the Chinaman, so he must have done it.
But what does it matter even if he is the owner? Why
Oh, no,
write
they
that
want
in
to
there?
they tear it down. Remember, the supermarket gets
Yeah,
thrown
I
down
know
after
they tear it down.
the fastest renovation in the history of supermarkets.
I love how they're like, we've been working 24 hours straight. And it's like, yeah, like one day.
Yeah, and it's like completely
It's only
different.
been a day.
And they tear it down. I have nothing.
The funny thing is as well, they renovate the whole exterior of the grocery store, right? But at the start of the film, Uncle Bill is renovating the front of the grocery store as well. So it's like being painted twice in a week.
Yeah, it's because
What
in the
do
Bronx, people have to repaint their grocery store every 5 days.
And what does she create? She makes the grocery store look like a castle or something. Like,
yeah, it turns into like a more Chinese-oriented one, which gets torn down.
yeah.
It's really weird, man. And yeah. Well, that being said, him embracing his Chinaman thing. There's actually one interesting thing. Okay, so Chan's getting like he's making out with he gets to make out with Nancy. Yeah, he gets a romance. Like not only that, he has girls fighting over him. Whenever in an American Jackie Chan film have you seen girls fight over Jackie? And when do you get to see him kiss girls on screen? Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels like more progressive than Asian men on television right now. I mean, even though the film was terrible and stuff. Fuck, like I mean, not only that, a white chick goes past Jackie and says, "Hey, he's cute," like.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
Like,
She does.
did you just work that into the script to make Jackie feel like he was like masculine as fuck?
That's the difference between Hong Kong money.
Yeah, Hong Kong money going
Behind
into
the script.
The Asian guy can be seen as like sexy towards the women and shit, but like
Yeah, no, they do have quite a few scenes like
Jackie-
talking about how
yeah.
hot Jackie Chan is.
Oh
Like,
man, they call him hot the whole way through, and like he's the hero, and he gets the girl, and it's like fuck. I mean, other than maybe Bruce, and then this film, something you know what I mean. You don't really see the
even
Asian
Bruce
guy.
Lee, man, like didn't like. I'm trying to remember because I mean, it's not,
Does he kiss? Does he get the girl? I mean, we even talk about Scarface. I mean, Tony Montana doesn't even get to make out with Michelle.
No one gets the girl.
No one gets the girl. Like, but that being said, also, I did read an article where. Do you remember the Green Hornet with Seth Rogen and and Jay Chow? Taiwanese pop star Jay Chow, Simple Love. What I need, I will. That guy, yeah. Anyway, so he's like a big superstar in Asia, in China. He's like this, like I don't know. He's like the Chinese. I don't know. What would we call it? Like I don't know. Who's a big dude that sings? I don't know, Justin Bieber or some shit. I don't know.
Just Chinese.
I'm so out of touch with music. He's so old, so I can't really use the comparison. But anyway,
he's the Chinese One Direction.
Yeah, he's the Chinese. He's a fucking. Okay, put it this way: he's a fucking superstar, right? Jay Chow is huge, and so he's in this Hollywood film, and he's with Cameron Diaz, and in the original script I read that supposedly Jay Chow was supposed to kiss Cameron Diaz. Except Cameron Diaz rejected that and said no, I want
Bullshit.
to happen. Yeah, I read it. I Googled. I was reading it like recently. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's a few year old that story, but
yeah, still though, that's not old enough to.
Yeah. But that being said, right, Jackie gets to make out with the girl. Jackie gets to be called hot, and Jackie gets to fucking kick some ass. And I mean, it's just funny. Like, I mean, it's so funny because like if this film came out now, like we always reevaluate films in the cultural relevance of today, and fuck man, like yes, there's some disabled gags going and kids falling out of wheelchairs and stuff, and some racial insensitivity. But like, hey, the Asian guy gets some poon, so it's all good.
I don't think it's that. Like, I mean, I think people. I think if it was released today, there'd be people obviously complaining about that and saying how it's ableist. But I don't think any of it's really mean spirited. And a lot of Hong Kong film and Asian film in general have this. Like, it's fairly standard kind of slapstick, especially making fun of the disabled.
Yeah, well, that's the thing because they don't really see. That's the thing about Asian cinema. It's a lot more free in terms of. Yeah, I feel it's more free. Like, it's less of those, like, you know, we got to press every market, you know, here, so we don't get, like, you know, too much controversy around a scene where a kid falls out of a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely not as critical because it's not as widespread here. And I don't think Asia has the same kind of, you know, political things that are going on.
Yeah,
so, whether or not... I mean, look, there was a movie that came out in Japan 2 years ago. What was it? Lesson of Evil, where a guy shoots up a whole bunch of school kids. Like, can you imagine if that was fucking an American film?
No, it's not just a bunch of school kids. It's a bunch of school girls, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember. I saw it. It was good, actually. I saw it at MIF, Melbourne International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike. Who's it by? Mike.
It's Mickey. Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey. My brain's fun.
Yeah. And it's like, that's never gonna fly here. Like, I mean, you couldn't make a film where a teacher slaughters all of his female students without somebody talking about the sexual dynamics of that.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Oh far out, man. Yeah, exactly. And then also like what's that other one? Tag by Sion Sono with the like bus cutting.
Oh yeah, that was his new one, yeah.
Yeah, this tornado like slices a whole bunch of schoolgirls in half, and then there's like only girls seen in the whole film until the last 10 minutes. But I'm not going to reveal the ending of that film. It's amazing, but that film will get criticized. But it's actually a comment on sexual politics, actually. If you watch carefully.
Yeah, Sion Sono's films always are.
Always are, yeah.
But yeah, that kind of stuff. It's a lot more. I don't know. There seems to be a lot more respect for the artist, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
In Asia still.
In Asia, yeah. It seems to be that way. I don't know. We live in a very PC society. I mean, we've said this in practically every fucking podcast I've done.
But anyway, let's do something that's not PC and talk about that fucking hovercraft.
Oh, the hovercraft, man. Okay, well, first of all, so we all know that, like, at the end of Rumble in the Bronx, there's a hovercraft, and the hovercraft, you know, is the getaway vehicle. But one thing I like about the hovercraft is they refer to the hovercraft as a person. So there's a line where the police are like, they pull out, like, the megaphone, and they're like, hovercraft, this is the police.
Oh, that hovercraft. Band.
Yeah.
Hovercraft!
Yeah, and the hovercraft drives...
But they keep playing.
Like... Yeah, a band sees the hovercraft and they scream out into the mic, hovercraft! And they just keep playing music. And it's like, they refer to a hovercraft as if it's a fucking high being. I wouldn't be surprised if this hovercraft was like sent from some, I don't know, some alien planet. Because
they're treating
it's a
treating it like a monster.
Yeah, no, I don't know if a monster, but just something special, man, like hovercraft.
Like Godzilla's walking down the street.
Yeah.
And everyone's running away from it. I mean, it's such a... I really can't decide, man, like, if I like that or if I hate that. Because,
yeah, no, I love it.
Like, on paper, Jackie Chan
laughing.
Fights a hovercraft that's on a rampage.
Well, he gets into a Lambo and then, like, cuts it open, too, which is using a sword.
Yeah.
Correct.
That was it's like the best and worst thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, he gets into is it a Lambo? Or is it? Yeah, it must be a Lambo.
It's convertible.
And then smashes the gull-wing doors off it, and then also the vertical doors off it, and then grabs this giant fake-looking sword, puts it out the side, and slashes the cushion of the hovercraft.
Yeah, he commits a murder on the hovercraft. He tears that hovercraft up. I mean, I remember this hovercraft is something that they refer to as hovercraft. This is the police. Slow down, hovercraft. You know, it's like that's like if I was saying car. Like, you know, if I.
Oh, man, stop.
As if not the driver of the car. Yeah, far out. The amount of weird things in this film like that, it just... I burst into laughter when I saw the hovercraft, man. It's just like, what?
It's just kind of like, that's the oddest thing for this film to do. Like, you expect that a Jackie Chan film is going to end with some sort of fight. Like, some sort of big fight scene.
Yeah.
Or something. But it's just him being chased by a hovercraft.
Yeah.
down a beach while he has to save a child
Yeah.
from being run over by the hovercraft.
And then the hovercraft, literally, okay, so, for those who haven't seen whatever, okay, the point is, basically what happens is this hovercraft gets stopped. They let everyone into the hovercraft at the end. Jackie, the police, they're all like, okay, cool, let's go find White Tiger, who's the bad guy, right? And the police somehow agree to let this happen. I don't know how this happens, but basically, they drive the hovercraft through a public space onto a golf course and chase White Tiger down and run him over, and then the films, it freeze frames on their face, cheering, yeah, as if like, wow, we just crushed the bad guy with a hovercraft and left him bare bottom on the golf course with his ass out, and it's just like, really, like, did the police?
It wraps up within about like 10 seconds. Like,
the film wraps up.
They fix the hovercraft with duct tape. They get it to this golf course.
Yep.
And then, like, the funny thing is, right, there's like a crowd around this guy, yeah? When he's playing golf?
Yeah.
Was there a crowd? I can't
there's
remember.
a crowd. They disperse because, like, hovercraft, right?
So their whole thing is, White Tiger, his men are aboard the hovercraft, so that's why you're going to drive the hovercraft to White Tiger. But there's like zero reason for it. Like, Jackie and the rest of the cast are now in this hovercraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, driving down the golf course. And it's like, was that this guy, like, the goons, was that their escape plan? They were going to drive the hovercraft to the golf course while there's, like, 20 people watching this guy take a shot?
I just remember thinking, every time I watched it, I'm like, what was the plan with the fucking hovercraft anyway? Were they ever going to get away? Using a fucking hovercraft. Maybe
with this? Like,
maybe a helicopter or a fucking car, but a fucking thing like a hovercraft. Like,
were they going to lose the cops and then drive to the golf course?
where White Tiger is.
In the hovercraft.
Yeah, it's really a ridiculous little thing.
And then, they just wrap it up. Like, that's it. End of film. Which doesn't give you a lot of resolution at all.
Nah, there's no resolution to it either. It's just... But one thing they do have is that awesome song.
Yes. Which you do the greatest rendition of.
Last time Jackie Chan came round. And that's all I know. Actually, I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. There's a song at the end in the credits that is literally just about Jackie Chan and Mr. Miyagi, and then that's all I remember. But...
Yeah, and it's basically talking about playing pool with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he goes to say we play pool also. I was like, what?
Which, man, it's nowhere near the greatness it is Jackie Chan's actual singing.
Oh yeah, he sings in some of his end credits of his other Cantonese.
I've got one of his singles on vinyl. Yeah, I bought it when I was in Tokyo. I found it. It was so it's like it was in a bargain bin, and it's this. It's him. I think he's singing in Cantonese. He wouldn't be singing in Japanese because I don't know why. Yeah, he's not Japanese, but like it was a Japanese vinyl. So, sometimes Asian pop stars will sing in other languages just to attract our market. But one of the songs is called Tokyo Saturday Night, which is it's just him singing about being out in Tokyo.
Wow.
On a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night.
And the cover of the single is Jackie Chan shirtless in front of some apartment buildings.
On a Saturday night.
No, during the day. Like he's been working on the road or something and he's just shirtless.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad. Like it's so... Obviously, I don't know what the lyrics are.
Take a photo and post it.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll put it up on here.
That's fucking awesome.
But yeah, Jackie Chan. Pop star.
Last time Jackie Chan came out.
Oh man, what a mess of a film! But it's so much fun.
Like, I mean, look, I think, I mean, as a reevaluation, it is probably on. It's on my favorite film list in some way or form. I mean, it's a pretty amazing film. Like the fact that I've seen it that many times and had so many great times with my old mates with it, growing up with them, watching it over and over again, reciting quotes. I mean, sometimes we see each other and we still say random quotes from the film.
Man, I didn't realize how many quotes I've heard you say over the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah, because I say them randomly, don't I?
Yeah, like, especially like you saying uncle and stuff. Like,
oh, yeah, uncle. That's all from the movie. Like, all these quotes are from the film, man. And
hell, you've named your latest protagonist Angelo.
Yeah, I know, because of, hey, Angelo, let's have some... Oh, yeah, he's like, easy, Angelo, easy. Remember that? It's like, oh, that's the guy that broke my friggin' nose.
That's the guy that... No, the funniest one was when he gets hit in the face. And it's like, oh, my broken nose.
Oh, my freaking nose. And it's like, is that the guy that broke your freaking nose? Yeah, that's him. And he's like, yo, shithead, you're gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, he grabs the gun. He's like, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Angelo is the most ridiculous of the gang. Look at the gang characters.
Yeah,
Like,
he's got blonde hair, goggles. Oh,
and then that scene where he's trying to get the diamonds back, and he's wearing a fucking bicycle helmet and like a sweater across. He's trying to do this stupid thing where they're like at a park, and Jackie's with the disabled boy Danny, and the diamonds are hidden inside Danny's cushion, but Danny got a new cushion, so they're not in his cushion for his wheelchair. And Angelo's just sort of stalking them on a push bike, and he's wearing like a helmet. He's like undercover Angelo.
Yes.
And then he waits for his time to strike and runs up and throws Danny out of the chair and grabs his cushion. And Jackie like runs over and is like, what happened? And Danny's like, someone stole my cushion.
Yeah.
It's like Jackie's more concerned about getting the cushion back than putting Danny back in his wheelchair.
And it's like, it's so weird because like there's a whole mob of people chasing Angelo at this point.
Yeah, like, hey.
They're like, oh, get back his cushion and stuff. It's like, all right. But Angelo is interesting because there's also another scene I love where he's like, yo, you kiss my ass and we'll let you go. And he like he pulls his pants down. And he's like got a tattoo on his ass. I love hard on his ass. It's the most cliche the most cliche tattoo on his ass. I love hard, right? And he's like, yo, kiss it right here. It's like, oh my god.
Angelo's got some problems, man. Like, far out.
Yeah, and the gang leader Tony's, very, he's got some issues, but Angelo's just on another level.
Tony's kind of not fleshed out as a character because of Angelo, I think. Like, Tony's not really there.
Yeah, there's another scene where, Angelo arrives with his girl, Nancy, and then Angelo's like, the king and queen have arrived. And it's like, he's like, what are you, 5 years old? Like, when your friend arrives with his girlfriend, you say stuff like that. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what they were basing that character off.
Yeah, I know. It's like, he's like, what is he, like 13? The king and queen have arrived. Hey, you should get rid of her. She's a pain in the ass. And then
trying to like make him this badass like gang guy. Like, he's like the most non-threatening person in the world.
He acts like a 12-year-old. It's like, you should get rid of her. And then Angela's like, you're really starting to piss me off.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man. And he disappears from the funny thing, like when those plots change over into the whole diamond plot, Angelo disappears. Like he's just not there anymore. He's in one more scene and that's it.
Yeah, he gets shot in the leg.
Yeah, and it's like,
he's like,
this is like your main antagonist for the film.
He's like,
and then all of a sudden,
that's not the FBI.
Yeah,
every line, man.
I love too how like Jackie's got this card. Like the bad guys who want the diamonds back have seen Jackie and told him they're the FBI and given him a card to call them.
Yeah.
And when the gang gets their wood-chippered friend back, they're like, you need to help us. I'll call the FBI. And nobody's like, oh, okay, well, maybe... Like, they could have called the FBI themselves. Why do they have to get Jackie to call the... We'll get the foreigner to call the FBI.
Yeah. And it's like, that ain't the FBI.
That ain't the FBI.
Yeah.
They never show him a badge. Like Kyung's supposed to be a cop, right?
Oh, well, a cop from Hong Kong.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, you think that when someone says to the FBI, he'd, like, want to see identification. Like, he doesn't seem that stupid.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stupid plot hole.
Well, the whole film is filled with silly plot holes, but as I was saying, it's a great film. Love it to death. Watch it.
Would you rank it higher than Scarface?
It's up there with Scarface. I've seen it probably more than Scarface. I think Scarface is cinematically a better movie, better acting, better dialogue, better audio recording, better ADR.
But nowhere near as good as the Kung Fu. Like, does not have the better Kung Fu.
Yeah, I enjoy the Kung Fu in this fucking film. It's good. So yeah, it gets 6 out of 9 stars now. Anyway, now I'm acting like Angelo.
No, you're acting like a dickhead.
Fucking Angelo.
I used to like it a lot more than I do now. But that was when sort of like, going backwards from being introduced to Jackie Chan through films like Who Am I and Rush Hour. Rumble in the Bronx seemed okay. Like, the dub didn't bother me then, but now after sort of watching more of, like, I have a million times more of Jackie Chan's films from Hong Kong, it's like the dub just kills it so much for me. Yeah. So I kind of like simultaneously really, really enjoyed it, and then also really, really fucking annoyed me. Yeah. So I don't know where it sits for me. Like, it's definitely got an appeal. It's definitely entertaining. It's nowhere near... it wouldn't be the film I'd say go see this to see Jackie Chan. Like,
yeah, but it was the film that made him. That's the odd thing too.
Yeah,
right?
That's the film that made him. Like, it's surprising.
Film. Yeah,
it's really surprising, and I think that's why it's gotten a bit forgotten from what I feel is forgotten in comparison to some of his other movies, because it was sort of people were just happy to have a Jackie Chan film like in English that was getting a wide release. Like even Ebert's review, he says that you disregard the plot and all that. We're just happy this is here. Like we're finally getting this, and that it's actually Jackie Chan's brand of action rather than what they're trying to force him to do,
as opposed to the other crap that they tried to push on him.
But yeah, don't watch this expecting Police Story or something. It's just not as cohesive, but it's fun, and it's a great little time capsule of what 90s Hong Kong fought 90s America was like.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, they say films, you can save yourself a plane ticket and watch a movie. If you want to go to the Bronx, just watch it.
You want to go to Vancouver. The Bronx via Vancouver. Well, I think that's all we want to talk about. Do you have anything else? Any last...
mate, I think I've exhausted my... I'm so tired, man.
Yeah, man, you must be wrecked.
Mate, I'm so out of it. Hey, but you know what, though? Maybe at some point we can upload that little short film I made of...
Random in the Bronx, wasn't it?
I called it I would have been I think I might have been 15. I mean, it's shot on edited with Windows Movie Maker, and it's shot on a 0-chip camera or something.
Yeah. It's terrible. You can always just watch Matt's version and then decide whether or not you want to watch Rumble in the Bronx, because if you can get through Matt's version, then you'll have no problem getting through Rumble in the Bronx. If you get through
my version, it doesn't make sense because it's just me reciting quotes from the film with my friends and fighting randomly.
Yeah, I might get you to record a little introduction to it, and then we'll post it up in the next few days.
Yeah, let's do it, man. That'll be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Next week we have Danger Dolan, the big dog himself, coming down to talk to us about a film that he's chosen, which most of you probably have seen. It's Bad Santa. I don't know why he wants to do Bad Santa, but Bad Santa it is. So
hey, man, but Terry Ziegler's a great director. Wouldn't say Bad Santa's my favorite of his films, but Article Confidential is one of my faves. So
Well, we can get to talking about that next week. Don't give away too much, man. No one wants to know just now.
Yeah, we'll blow our load too soon.
I'll give you a heads up. I personally I haven't rewatched Bad Santa in a long time, and I'll rewatch it this week. But I've never liked it. I've never liked Bad Santa. So
well, let's see what you and the Dolan come up with.
Go head to head.
The big dog Dolan.
But that's the thing. The comedies are so subjective. So it's what's the point of arguing about it?
Well, someone might think that Rumble in the Bronx is one of the greatest masterpieces ever written, up there with There Will Be Blood or something.
Yeah, someone will be in the comments just being you're wrong. Rumble in the Bronx is the best Jackie Chan film ever. I love that film. I watched it so much as a kid. How dare you say anything bad about it?
Yeah, something like that.
Which has happened, man. That's happened so many times on the really? Danger Dolan scripts that I've written about movies.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So many people just I was not even bagging something out, and they just be like, I didn't think this was a bad film. It's I never said it was. Calm down, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, and we should have some editorials coming up soon. I'm going to try and post a few. Matt, you're going to get something up, hopefully.
Yeah, man. Maybe some I don't know. We'll see. I'll whip something up and you'll see.
Maybe you can talk about some more Jackie Chan films that you love.
Yeah, definitely at some point. Dude.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you guys.
I think. I mean, look, you're asking me about a game I played 10 years ago, once, and you have, one of the mechanics in the game, which is brilliant, is that you can shoot off individual testicles of enemies. So every enemy, it would go into your targeting thing, and you can shoot off testicles.